Thank you so much. I will now share my screen. Okay, so as a review class, we have tackled about the exercise one, the aseptic technique on the petri dish preparation. Um, have you furnished your lab reports na class? Have you made your lab reports na, or are you still doing your lab reports in this exercise one? Not yet. You're not done yet with this exercise one. So kindly um, furnish this and so that you will not drown in the midterm examination because I will be requiring you to pass all your lab reports after the midterm examination so that you will have a midterm grade. So, okay, for the exercise two, it's solid state fermentation. So, have you already conducted this experiment at home class? Na nabay nag-start? Because 7 days ba ini siya ang observation? I had given you time for this.
Nag-prepare kami sa gamit, ma'am.
Na-prepare niyo sa gamit. Okay. And then, so please do so para you can now observe your experiment this week. Okay, please be reminded that you have to take a picture and take note the observations daily for your setup. Okay, that's the natural fermentation or the spoilage of the rice. Okay, so that's it. So we have already done this. And the exercise 3 this morning is entitled the yogurt fermentation. Okay, so who among you here are fond of eating yogurt? Class, do you like the yogurt?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So this is a healthy drink or a sabatya. It's a fermented drink. It is a form of fermented milk, okay, or the spoiled milk, kung baga. It's sour, produced in most countries where fresh milk is drunk, okay. It is produced by the controlled fermentation of milk by two species of bacteria, particularly named as the Lactobacillus bulgaricus and the Lactococcus thermophilus. These are the two bacteria who are interplaying for the fermentation of yogurt. So we'll know the details. What's the role of these two bacteria for the production of yogurt? Okay, so the mechanism of this yogurt fermentation is that the sugar in milk, which is the lactose, so this is the milk sugar that is found in in the milk, of course, that is fermented to lactic acid. So the sugar is converted to lactic acid. The lactose is converted to lactic acid. And it is this that causes the characteristic curd to form, diba? When the milk is boiled, so you will notice that there is a clotting, the separation of the milk protein and also the water. Okay, so with this, when there is an acid that is added in the milk, there is also a separation of the milk protein, okay, and the water. So that is a naman siya muset mo curd there is formation of curd in the milk. So this is what happens when there is the lactose is converted to lactic acid. So the acid will separate the milk protein from the water. So that is why there is curdling. Okay, curdling. I mean. Okay, so specifically, the Lactococcus thermophilus brings down the pH, reduce the pH of the milk to pH 5.5. Okay, so this is the role of the Lactococcus thermophilus, that it reduces the pH into 5.5. Okay, while the Lactobacillus bulgaricus converts the lactose to lactic acid. So the Lactobacillus bulgaricus have a will produce an enzyme lactase that converts to lactic. I know it's not lactase, but it's another enzyme that will convert to lactic acid. Okay, so that is why it will be hydrolyzed to lactic acid. Okay, that's the mechanism of this yogurt fermentation. Okay, so these two bacteria are interplaying, or they have stimulating effects on one another. So the proteolytic enzymes from Lactobacillus bulgaricus break down milk proteins into peptides. So there are also proteolytic enzymes from Lactobacillus bulgaricus that will break down the milk proteins into peptides, diba? So the proteins, when we say that peptides is a 8 to 10 chains of amino acids, right? So when we say it's proteins, it will be 40 to 50 chains of amino acids. So it will break down the milk proteins into peptides. Okay, so these peptides stimulate the growth of Lactococcus thermophilus. Okay, with this thing, the Lactobacillus bulgaricus break down the milk proteins. So the peptides will be the prebiotic. This is called the prebiotic class because it will stimulate, it will become a nutrient, okay, of this Lactococcus thermophilus that that produces formic acid and carbon dioxide. These are growth stimulants for the Lactococcus bulgaricus. Okay, so these are also so they have an interplay. Okay, the Lactococcus, the bulgaricus will feed the Lactose thermophilus, and then it will produce formic acid and carbon dioxide, and then the Lactobacillus bulgaricus will also benefit the thermophilus, the Lactococcus thermophilus, because it will need the formic acid and carbon dioxide for the growth of Lactobacillus bulgaricus. So that's the stimulating effect or the simulation effect of the growth of these two bacteria. So that's how the yogurt is made. So it's very wonderful and amazing that these are bacteria that has an interplay in producing such a delicious product. So at the end of the incubation period, the pH may fall to pH 4.2 to 4.4. So the lactic acid coagulates the remaining milk protein, causing the yogurt to thicken. So this lactic acid coagulates the remaining milk protein. So that is why the yogurt is thick and creamy, viscous. Yeah, that's the characteristics of yogurt. Okay, so that's how the yogurt is made. So the byproduct of the yogurt is the acetaldehyde, in which it gives raw yogurt characteristic flavor. So it adds the acetaldehyde is responsible for the yogurt flavor. Okay, but it depends naman sa ubang mga commercial products. Commercial products, they added strawberries, mangoes, and for it to have a variety of flavors. Diba? So the incubation period will take 12 hours to 32 hours to reach the set point of the natural yogurt. Okay, the sugar, the color, it really takes time for the microorganisms to grow and to really have an interplay to bring down the pH, to convert the milk protein into peptides. So that is why it takes 12 to 32 hours. Okay, sugar, color, and fruit pulp is often added to increase popularity of the product. So that's what I have said to you that there are many commercial yogurt products that are available in the market that have variety of flavors. So, but because we have different preferences, so that is why the market will give us a wide variety of flavor for us to enjoy it. Okay, some yogurt may receive additional heat treatment to kill off any living bacteria before or after packaging for the consumer. Like the Dutch meal, have you drink the Dutch meal class? It's already pasteurized actually. So wala na siya live microorganism. That is why it's not it is yogurt, but it's already pasteurized. So wala na siya live microorganisms such as the Lactobacillus bulgaricus. So that's it. So kana for example, ang one example is the Dutch mill. So it's why but it still tastes sour. So it's fermented. But when it comes to the good bacteria that you are getting off for your stomach, so it's not wala na siya kuan ana. Wala na yung microorganism for that. So, ang Yakult, so it's not, the Yakult, it's not really a yogurt naman talaga. So, there are many live bacteria there. Yeah. Ang yogurt good is really those Nestle yogurt na if you have tasted the yogurt in the rooftop, so talang kung yogurt diha sa rooftop when it was still face to face, so kanang magbaligya ko dito class ang og yogurt. Okay, so that's uh, the popularity of the yogurt in the locality. Okay, so right now we will watch the video for the different preparation of yogurt fermentation, so that you will have a glimpse. We can also actually you can also prepare this at home na mga homemade yogurt, but then I won't require you to do that na because I guess it's expensive na sa sa raw material. But yeah, I will just let you watch the video in a large scale production and also in a homemade setup. Okay, so I will share my screen. So wait lang that.
Curious
Can you hear the sound, class?
Yes, ma'am.
camera. A look into how yogurt is made. Welcome to Norman's Yogurt. My name is Mordechai Carey. I'm the plant manager here. And I would like to share with you a little bit behind the scenes.
So this is a large production of yogurt fermentation plant, the pilot plant.
Of what goes on at Norman's. The main ingredient for yogurt, obviously, is milk. Our milk comes directly from the farm. You can't get it fresher. When we think of bacteria, we think of bad bacteria. But there are good bacteria also. Bacteria that the body needs. The good bacteria that's used to make yogurt is called yogurt culture. We put the culture inside the tank with the milk. After setting for a number of hours, the yogurt becomes thicker and gets its texture from these yogurt cultures. After the yogurt is cultured and it's ready, then we send it off to the filler. Here you're looking at a 4-nozzle filler. First the fruit is coming out, filling up on the bottom of the cup, and then you see the yogurt filling in on top of it. We have a very big selection of flavors. Right away, with no time, within a fraction of a second, the lid is put on top and it's sealed so that it stays fresh. After the cups are sealed, they come down a conveyor line They get date stamped on top. It accumulates on a round accumulation table. The accumulation table gives the packers a chance to take the yogurts off the table and put them into a box. That has to be done very fast because the machine is continuously putting yogurts out onto the table, and if they don't pack them quickly, they will accumulate on the accumulation table and it'll be a big mess. The Poppers line has different toppings that go with the yogurt. They put the Poppers caps onto the yogurt. Once it's on the pallet, it gets taken over to the fridge where it's chilled down to a nice 40 degrees. It gets wrapped with stretch wrap. This is the plastic that you see going around the pallets. The reason why we wrap it is because otherwise if we put that unit onto a truck, as soon as the truck hits a little bump in the road, the yogurt is going to fall off the pallet and it's going to get a mess all over the truck. After the truck is loaded, they take it directly to the stores so that you can buy fresh Norman's yogurt.
Okay, so this is the Norman Sugar class. It's a
Special thanks to Norman's.
pilot scale production of yogurt. Let's now take a look at the general process of the yogurt fermentation in this animation. So, can you hear the sound, class? And can you see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm sure you know that yogurt comes from milk, but did you know that bacteria are also a key ingredient? Yes, bacteria, but don't worry, these are good bacteria and are often called probiotics. Your gut has thousands of types of bacteria happily living inside, whose job it is to aid digestion. Yogurt is thought to be a good vehicle to bring more of these good bacteria in. So in this video, we're going to learn a bit more about how yogurt is made. First, we need milk. Before we start the next steps, all of our equipment needs to be sterilized to kill off any unwanted bacteria and other microorganisms. Now we're ready to start. The milk is heated to somewhere between 85 and 95 degrees Celsius for between 15 and 30 minutes. This is a process called pasteurization and is also done to kill off any bacteria and other microorganisms that are naturally found in the milk. The milk is then homogenized. This breaks down the fat droplets in milk to make them smaller so that they stay suspended in the yogurt, rather than sinking and making it all lumpy. So we've sterilized our equipment, then pasteurized and homogenized the milk. Now the mixture is cooled to 40 to 45 degrees Celsius, and we add our special yogurt making bacteria. The mixture needs to be cooled first so that the bacteria aren't killed by the high temperature. You might be wondering why on earth are we adding bacteria when we've gone to all the effort so far of killing all the bacteria. We're adding lactic acid bacteria, which are also used in cheese manufacturing. The two species used to make yogurt are lactobacilli and streptococcus. But don't worry, you don't need to learn these names. Just remember that lactic acid bacteria are added. These lactic acid bacteria are known as the starter culture. The bacteria ferment the milk and change it into yogurt. Lactose is the main sugar in milk, and during fermentation, the bacteria turn the lactose into lactic acid. The bacteria also start to digest the milk proteins. Fermentation takes many hours, and during this time, the mixture is kept at the optimum temperature of 40 to 45 degrees Celsius, so that the bacteria can work its fastest. As fermentation produces lactic acid, type of acid, the pH of the milk drops to about pH 4.4. This is why natural yogurt has a sharp, tangy taste. As the pH levels drop, the milk solidifies to become raw yogurt. Once the pH drops to a low, the lactic acid bacteria that make the yogurt also stop working, so the yogurt doesn't become too solid. pH drop also stops any bad bacteria growing. The solidification happens because the proteins begin to coagulate. Coagulation is when something which is liquid turns into a more solid state. So we've sterilized our equipment, then pasteurize and homogenize the milk. Add lactic acid bacteria so fermentation happens, and then coagulation. Mixture is now stirred and cooled. So we've sterilized our equipment, then pasteurized.
Okay, so the first general process of the yogurt fermentation class is
We've
the
sterilized our
sterilization of the different materials or the equipment that you have to use. Okay, and then also pasteurize
then
your
pasteurized.
milk. Okay, it is really important in order to kill other unwanted bacteria. Okay, that's why because milk when we obtain milk from the farm, yeah, we have there are lots of bacteria that will grow after an hour, after 12 hours, if we will not pasteurize it. Okay, that is why in order for it is part of the aseptic technique in the yogurt fermentation that you have to pasteurize your milk, okay, to kill the unwanted bacteria. So pasteurization takes place for about 30 minutes. You just have to prepare a water bath, and then you just also monitor the temperature at 70 degrees to 75 degrees Celsius. So that's the range of the temperature that you have to maintain when you are doing pasteurization in milk. Okay, so really good po din up to 100 degrees Celsius because of course your milk will be denatured, the milk protein will be denatured and it will cause curling. So that is why you have to just seldomly stir your milk during pasteurization. So after that, it's the homogenization. So you have to create a smaller surface area of your milk so that it will be the nutrients of this milk will be available for the lactic acid bacteria to convert and to do its job for the yogurt making. Okay, so that's the purpose of the homogenization. Okay, then after that you have to add the lactic acid, the lactic acid bacteria.
And lactic acid bacteria.
So in that addition of the lactic acid bacteria, of course, as what I have discussed with you, that there are specific roles that they play for the yogurt making, so that the Streptococcus thermophilus will be the one to reduce the pH, and the Lactococcus bulgaricus then will convert the milk protein. Okay, so and then it will cause coagulation because of the production of the lactic acid. Okay, the conversion of the lactose to lactic acid. So that the yogurt will achieve its form of a thicker
and then coagulation. Mixture is now stirred and 5 degrees Celsius.
And so you have to maintain the temperature when you incubate your yogurt into 44 degrees to 45 degrees Celsius. But there are also homemade setup class that you just have to allow it to settle in a cool, dry place, mga 30 to 32 degrees. But if with that temperature, it will take a long time, maybe mga 2 days. You have to wait for 2 days in order to achieve that coagulation, to achieve that form of the yogurt. Yeah, that's it.
And we've made natural unflavored yogurt. At this stage, we can add flavorings and fruit. Now it's ready to be packaged and sold. Delicious. Can you match the words to the definitions of the different stages of the yogurt making process? Pause the video and give it a go.
Okay, so class, we will answer this. Okay, question. It happens to the equipment to kill off unwanted bacteria and microorganisms. So what's the word?
Sterilization.
Correct. Okay, very good. Second question, the process of a liquid turning into a more solid state.
Coagulation.
Coagulation.
Correct. What does the lactic acid bacteria do to the milk to make yogurt? So what's the process? What does the lactic acid bacteria do to the milk to make yogurt?
Fermentation.
Fermentation, ma'am.
Correct. Yes, it's fermentation. So added to the pasteurized and homogenized milk to turn lactose into lactic acid.
Lactic
Lactic
acid
acid
bacteria.
bacteria.
Correct. Heating of the milk to kill off unwanted bacteria and microorganisms.
Pasteurization, ma'am.
Pasteurization. Right, correct. So the last one is the breaking down of fat droplets.
Homogenization.
Homogenization.
Homogenization. Yes, very good.
What about
Yes.
completing the missing words? Again,
So, yun lang siguro
from
for
milk to
now.
tasty.
Okay, that's the general process class in which these are, mao siya makita sa inyong methodology. So, the sterilization, pasteurization, homogenization, fermentation, coagulation, and flavoring. Okay, so you have to include this in your methodology.
Strawberry flavored yogurt.
If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And don't
Okay,
forget to
so I will
subscribe,
watch,
comment
I
below
will allow
if
you
you
to
have
watch
any
another
questions.
video.
Why not check
Let's watch another video. Okay, this is the yogurt making at home, homemade yogurt recipe. So let's watch this. So after pasteurization class, or I forgot, so in the process, so after pasteurization of the milk, you have to allow to cool your milk first before adding your lactic acid bacteria. Okay, so if you don't do homogenization anymore, because other processes they will undergo homogenization if break down fats. But if you are doing at home, kay ang uban kay wala may mga equipment, mga homogenizers. So you just have to skip that process, and then after pasteurization, you have to add your lactic acid bacteria, but you have to allow to cool your milk in order that the lactic acid bacteria will grow. So if your milk is still hot, so the lactic acid bacteria will be killed, so it won't grow. So there will be no yogurt that will form. Okay. Okay, for the starter culture class at home, you can use the Nestle yogurt, that unflavored yogurt. You can use that because there are, what I've said, that there are live bacteria in it. So you can use that starter culture as a parang seed culture, so that you can use it for a large volume of yogurt making. Okay. So that's it, how to make yogurt at home. Okay, so um, okay, that's the those videos that I have that will they allow you to watch so that we'll have a uh, vivid picture of the general process of the yogurt making. In terms of milk classes, they're doing yogurt at home. You can, if you have not obtained really fresh milk from the farm, you can bisa ka ng mga sa milk, sa cow's milk, kanang fresh din siya from the farm. You can just buy mga fresh milk from the market or from the mga grocery stores, and these are already pasteurized actually. So you can just keep the part that you just have to do pasteurization, but because it's already pasteurized na. So that's just have to add the yogurt, that Nestle yogurt, okay, into the fresh milk, and then you just have to stir it, and then after a while just have to set it up and then allow it to set for 8 to 10 hours or more than 10 hours. So that's,
Excuse, ma'am.
yes,
What if wala fresh milk, ma'am?
fresh milk.
Oo.
It's recommended man, Ricky, that fresh milk yun ang imong ikuan. So, what other
Diri sa amo wala may fresh milk, ma'am. Ambot lang mag-check pa ko kung kuha na
I,
ba, pero wala jud siya.
I know it's okay. It's okay, Ricky. We don't have. I don't have you to require you to make yogurt at home. So it's just ano lang naman. It's not a requirement for you to do that. Okay. So don't
Dili
worry.
laboratory, ma'am.
Ha?
Dili day mag-fermentation sa yogurt sa laboratory to. Lab to.
Supposedly, ganahan mo maghimo. Is it okay with you? Because okay kayo kung yogurt making at home. How about the others? Because I'm just thinking that it's kind of expensive for you to do that. But if you want to make yogurt at home, you
Ayun na
can
lang,
do
ma'am.
that.
Yun.
Because I'm just thinking na it's kind of pricey sa inyong part. You just have to that you will buy fresh milk. Yeah. So I just have to let you watch the video. But if you have time, so it's not a requirement for you to do yogurt making at home. Okay. So para it will just save time because the last exercise that you did is experiment at home po. So because there will be more experiment at home for the next exercise sa inyo pa. So because it's your personal budget, so I don't have to require you to do that because it's kind of pricey na. Okay? So
Thank you, ma'am.
okay. Okay, so let's now for your lab report in your discussion. Okay, so you just have to choose the process of yogurt making, the general process presented in the video. It could be that the yogurt making at home or the general process in the pilot scale volume, the large volume of production. Okay, and then you just have to discuss the principle behind the process of yogurt making. Okay, that's the important thing because we have no result for this laboratory. The main discussion is the principle behind the process. And then third is discuss the critical processes. Okay, there are many critical processes to achieve a yogurt product. Okay, so you have to read many journal articles about this yogurt making, what are the critical processes. You can discuss about the temperature, the incubation periods, because there are many other factors that affect the optimized yogurt product to have a very delicious form of yogurt. Okay, that's it. So that's it, class, for the yogurt fermentation. So do you have any questions regarding the lab report and also the discussion? Class, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have questions and
None so
clarifications?
None so far, ma'am.
Okay. So, ano ba ito? Yeah, before I forget, I'm going to announce that you will have a quiz for the exercise 1 and 2 for the lab. Okay, today I will be posting it at 3 p.m. and you have 24 hours to answer that quiz. I will also post it, I will also announce it on our group chat. Okay, so you will have a quiz. So please review and please conduct your your solid state fermentation exercise. Okay, that's it for this laboratory class. Okay, and also for the lecture, so have you watched the lesson 1 recorded video lecture of the different fermentation processes? I have already posted it in the BSUEE. So kindly watch that because after the lesson 3, we will have a quiz. I will give you a quiz for the lesson 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I will not hold you for a long time because so that I can give you for your classmates to conduct the experiment. So please class, conduct na yung experiment so that may set up na mo and maka-observe. Actually, sa pag-set up, lagi na siya ang medyo laborious sa inyong solid state fermentation, but you just have to observe it every day and take a picture of it. Okay, so na naman inyong pairing, so please conduct it. So that's what I have assess sa inyo ha, so wala pa man di ay muna ka-start. So please do start na this week, okay? Eh, ma-move ang na po ang inyong deadline, saka na mag-collate mo sa inyong mga pictures and naapa mo yung mga naapa mo yung mga kinahanglanon nga basahon for your discussion. Okay, so I will not anymore discuss with the lecture so that I will can give you time for the laboratory exercise, okay, of the solid state fermentation. So, are there any questions, clarification?
None, ma'am.
None so far na. Okay, so before I will dismiss you, you will have a photo opportunity for today. So, thank you so much for attending. Kindly please turn
Thank you,
on
ma'am.
the camera and we'll have a photo op. I will always do this na every time we have an online class. Okay, let's have a screenshot. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, wait lang class. Another picture. Okay, thank you so much class for joining today and I will see you next week for the lecture and laboratory. Okay, thank you. Bye. God bless.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.